Alright, welcome to Digital Communication 3. Today is week 10, and here's what we're going to cover in today's online class. In today's class, we're going to take a look at creating seamless texture maps. There's two methods that I want to show you today. Both of them you are using Photoshop to create seamless texture maps. So I've downloaded some files off the internet that are not seamless. We're going to make them seamless. And again, there's two methods. We're also going to take a look at features within Revit that enable you to make your materials more realistic. One is called the bump texture feature, and the other one is called the cutout feature. We'll also take a look at self-illuminating objects, making objects appear to have a light source within them. And we'll also take a look at how to create custom families, okay, or more specifically, custom lighting families. And then I'll hand out assignment number 4, step 3. The first thing I want to take a look at is how to create seamless texture maps. Now, you all know that in Revit, when you create a material, 90% of the materials created in Revit are created by images that are repeating. Okay, so when you repeat these images, you have these raster images that are butt up against each other. Okay, and they repeat. Now, if you have an image, and if you take a look at this image right here, this image I downloaded from the internet, okay, you could see that when I butt them together, you could see that the left side doesn't line up with the right side, or the bottom doesn't line up with the top. And when you have this kind of non-seamless material, you'll notice that in this here, when I butt them up against each other, you create a bit of what is called a seam, right? You can see it there, you can see a bit there. Okay, you can see it along here where I place these arrows. You could see that seam. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take these images and we need to make them seamless. So you can see in this example here, I've made it seamless. Okay, so that's what we want to do in this first method. Okay, so in this method 1, I want you to open up Adobe Photoshop and then open up the file entitled breakround039 blah blah blah. Okay, so this file was taken from a really nice website that has seamless and non-seamless materials. So, okay, so here it is in Photoshop here, and we'll go through the steps here on method 1. We'll do this together. Okay, so once you have this open, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use your rectangular selection tool to create a square area. Okay, so in both methods we're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to go into our rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to hold down the shift key. Okay, so make sure, very important, make sure you hold down the shift key to keep keep the object that we are selecting to be a square. Okay, so just pick, and it doesn't matter exactly what size it is, just go ahead and pick me a square area. Alright, once you've picked the square area, the next step is to crop that area. Okay, so all we have to do, go under select, okay, and then click on to, where is it here? Where did I? Here it is. It's under image and then crop it. Alright, so now we have a square area, okay, that we'd like to work with. Okay, and again, in both methods we'll do the same. Now, the next step is we're going to, just for mathematical purposes, we're going to change our image size, okay, to be something that's easy to deal with. Okay, so we're going to go to image, image size, okay, and let's make this, just to round it off, let's make it 1000 by 1000. Okay, these are pixels. Okay. Next, we're going to use the offset tool, and we're going to adjust the horizontal and vertical offset by half that image size, okay, or 500. Okay, so we're going to go under filter, okay, and then we're going to go under other. Okay, no, sorry. We're going to go under, sorry, filter, and I'm looking for the offset. Oh, there it is. Other, and then offset. Okay, so click on offset, and here we go. Half the distance, so 500 horizontally and 500 vertically. Okay, once you're done that, click OK, And there we go. And you could see that my drawing has now shifted. Okay, so it has shifted. It's wrapped around. Okay, so the nice thing about this is, take a look. Now that we've shifted it and wrapped it around, look, the left side lines up with the right side. You can see that this here is a continuated over here. Okay, this continues over here. Okay, or the top. Look at the top. This here is a continuation of this. Okay, this is a continuation of this. So now we have it perfect that our right side lines up with our left and our top lines up with our bottom. But the problem is we have this. Okay, we have these areas right here. You could actually now see that tiling effect happening. So if we could remove that tiling effect along this horizontal and vertical, okay, then we have a seamless material. And to do this, we're going to use our patch tool. Okay, we're going to use our patch tool. Okay, so right here, okay, is our patch tool. Okay, you may, if you open up this, okay, you may have one of these ones showing, so you'll have to open up that and look for your patch tool. Okay, now once we have our patch tool engaged, all we have to do is select a small, and I wouldn't do this whole area all at once. I just do a small area. So what we do is we're going to hold down our left mouse key and we're going to drag around that area that has this line. Okay, so it's just this small area right there. And then what we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead onto our, I'm going to drag my mouse and I'm going to find an area on my drawing here, okay, that perhaps, okay, will give me a bit. Now you're not going to find something, you're not going to find a perfect fit. Okay, don't look for the perfect fit. What you want to do is try to find something that's relatively close. There you go, there's something close there. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm now going to deselect. I'll take a look at that. Okay, and you can see now that that line that used to be there is very minimized now. Okay, there might be some other, you know, lines that are causing a little bit, like you can see right about there, but it's not as visible. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and try another area here. Okay, maybe I'll do that big, larger area, and then I'm going to drag and look. Okay, look for again something that may, and again, you're not going to find the perfect fit. Okay, and then I'll deselect. Okay, so there you go. Well, that's a nice one. Okay, you don't see any of that line. Okay, then again, I'll do it here. Okay, and then drag, try to find another area. And again, it doesn't, you're not going to find, maybe something a little bit closer here. You're not going to find a perfect fit. Okay, so maybe something like that. Okay, deselect. Okay, not bad. Okay, and then lastly, I'll do this area right here. And that looks good. Okay. I think there's a bit of a one right in the middle here. Alright, there we go. There's my seamless material. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this now. Save as. I'll put it in my week 10 folder here. I'm just going to call this brick round dash seamless. Okay. And then we'll look at method 2, and after we looked at both method 1 and method 2, we'll go into Revit and we'll create a material and see how this looks. Alright, so let's take a look at method 2. 2. Now in method 2, I have another image that this image was taken from a digital camera many years ago. So the quality is not that good, okay, but it suits my purpose. Okay, the issue with this one here is not so much the pattern, but it's just the lightness and darkness of different areas of this. Okay, so this was taken from like I said, a digital camera with some flash. Okay, and the problem with this is you cannot control using a digital camera, especially with flash, what areas become dark and what areas become light. You could see in this example here, there's like areas that are dark. You can see right here, there's a dark area there. There's a bit of a dark area up here. And then there's some lighter areas over here. There's a light area over here. Okay, and the issue with that is, just like, again, when repeating these, the light area goes up against a dark area, causing a seam. Okay, so this again is a non-seamless texture map that we want to create seamless. So go ahead and open up this file. Again, this is in your folder. Okay, there's the name of the file. Okay, and like we did in the last step, let's go ahead and use our rectangular marquee tool. Okay, hold down the shift key so that we could select the square area. Okay, so something like that. Okay, once we've selected that square area, let's again go under image and let's crop it. Okay, so we've got a square area. And again, let's go under image size, and let's just round off our image size here. Okay, so 150 by 150 pixels. All right, so there we go. And then now let's go ahead and start a new file. Okay, so I want to start a new file here. So let's go File, New. And let's make this new file, okay, a custom size of 300 by 300. So twice the size, okay, twice the size of the image that we currently have. Okay, and it was 72 dpi. So make sure that that's all 300 by 300 by 72. Okay, and I'm going to zoom into it a bit. All right, so again, this was our initial size here. Okay, let me just zoom out a bit. Okay, let's go ahead, and again, if you take a look at our size again, okay, this was 150 by 150 by 72. So this new file here is just double that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and select all, and let's go ahead and edit copy. All right, and then let's go into now our new file here and edit paste it. All right, then use your move command, and let's start by moving this just to the top left hand corner. Okay, so right there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to paste it again. And this one we're going to put in the top right hand corner. So right here. But what we're going to now do is we're going to flip this. You could really see that seam happening there. Okay, because of light areas merging in with dark areas. So what I'm going to do is now we're going to go under, we're going to go and we're going to flip this. Okay, so under image. Okay, let's see, where is it here? Image rotation. We're going to flip this. Now, this is the part I always get mixed up with, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Let's go ahead and do a horizontal. Okay, nope, that's not it. Okay, so under edit, transform. Okay, so that's it right here. Okay, flip horizontal. There we go. Okay, so we flipped that, and you could see that that seam has now been minimized here. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's go ahead and paste it. Put it down at the bottom here. Okay, now this one we're going to flip vertical. Okay, so edit, transform, flip vertical. There you go, and again you could see that seam has now disappeared quite a bit. Okay, and we're going to again, we're going to paste it one more time, put it at the bottom here. Okay, now this one we're going to have to flip in two directions, both horizontal and vertical. So edit, transform. We're going to flip it horizontally first. You can see that's now gone. Okay, and then edit, transform. Okay, and we're going to flip vertical. Okay, so there we go. You could see now that the lines have diminished, have somewhat disappeared there. So this is now a seamless material. So now let's go under layer. We'll just flatten it, get rid of all the layers, and then now we could go ahead and save it. So now we'll go save as. I'll give it the same name here. Okay, or maybe I'll just call it fabric dash seamless. Okay, and then the next video we'll go into Revit. We'll open up a Revit file and we'll apply this material onto an object. Alright, now that we've created those two seamless texture maps, I've now opened up a file here in Revit. This is this week's lecture-start file. Okay, and let's go ahead and apply one of those materials here. Okay, so let's go under, let's first of all, let's create the material. Okay, so let's go under Manage, and let's click onto Materials. Okay, when we open up our material browser, okay, we're going to start by creating a material here. Okay, so let's go down here, create new material. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and this first one, this is going to be the non-seamless. Okay, so I'm just going to call this one non-seamless, just to show you again the issue that we had, and then I'll make this one seamless after. Okay, so this is the non-seamless one. Okay, I'm going to go to Appearance, I'm going to click on No Image Selected. Okay, and I'm going to go into my my week 10 folder that I have all my materials in. Okay, so here they are. Okay, so there's that brown brick one, the non-seamless one. Okay, so I'm going to create a material with that. Okay, and you can see there's the image there. Okay, and then I'm going to also create another one. Okay, this will be the seamless material. Alright, we'll change the image. Now this one, I'm going to obviously use this round brick seamless now. Okay, there's the image there. Okay, and I'll OK this. Okay, so we're going to start, we're just simply going to paint this material. Okay, so I'm going to use the paint. Now make sure our visual style, I've got this 3D view. Okay, so go into a 3D view and we'll just zoom into a wall. Okay, and I'll click on realistic here. Alright, so let's go ahead and apply this. And I'm just going to use the paint function for this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look for my non-seamless material. Okay, so right there is my non-seamless. Okay, and I'll apply it to here. Okay, and you could clearly see, now mind you, the image size is a little bit too small, but I'm hoping you could clearly see the issue that we're having. Okay, that you could clearly see the tile effect that's happening. Okay, as opposed to now we utilize our seamless material. Okay, so there it is, and I'll apply that. Okay, now not much. Now mind you, it does look a bit seamed just because of the fact that, you know, we have the same repetitious image happening over and over and over again. Okay, so that's what's causing that. It's the lines themselves aren't causing it, it's just the pattern itself. But let's see if we can go and make this look a little better. Obviously we should go into Manage, and then we should change the size of it. Okay, so let's go into Seamless. Okay, and let's go under Appearance, and let's change the size of this. So Edit Image. Okay, and then let's go now. Foot is way too small for that. Okay, so let's make it, okay, let's make it about, I'd probably say about 4 feet, maybe even more. Let's make it 5 feet by 5 feet. Okay, there we go. Okay, not too bad. Okay, I do notice some areas there that perhaps it's not the pattern that's the actual problem. It's more the lightness and darkness of areas that's the problem. Okay, so again, that's one method. Okay, that was the seamless one. Okay, now let's go inside. Let's go into our family room here. Okay, let's go and put that fabric material on here. Okay, let's put the fabric material. So again, I'm going to go into my material browser. Okay, and instead of I'll use the other material now. Okay, so for seamless, I'm going to change it. I'm going to use, I'll use the fabric seamless. Okay, and then the non-seamless material, again, I'll use the other, okay, the original fabric. Okay, so there. Okay, so now let's go ahead, edit type. Okay, the cushion fabric right here. Okay, let's start with this non-seamless one. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the non-seamless one. Let's apply that. Okay, so there. Okay, and again, this is the non-seamless. Okay. Now let's try the other one. Okay, so that's the non-seamless. Let's go back into the material browser here. Okay, that's the non-seamless one. Now let's go ahead and show the seamless one. Okay, let's apply that one instead. Oops. Let's search for it here. Okay, you can see there now. Mind you, the material is much bigger now. Okay, so we're going to have to edit that. Okay, so select, edit type, seamless. Okay, and let's edit the size of that. So it should be half the size now. Okay, not 5. Okay, let's go put it back to, let's put it back to 1 foot. Okay, so there. Okay, so again, there is still some areas, of course, with areas of light and dark areas, but now you can see that there's not really a seam pattern developing on here. Okay, so those again are the two methods of creating your seamless materials. Okay, the first one again being the method of using the patch tool. Okay, offsetting the image, then using the patch tool to remove those seams, or the other one is by copying and pasting the object 4 times and then simply flipping them both horizontally and vertically. The next thing I want to talk about is what is called the bump and cutout features. Okay, this is a great way of making your materials look much more realistic. Okay, and more efficiently, meaning that you take a look at these examples. Okay, the first one we're going to take a look at is the bump feature. Okay, this enables you to create parts of your objects or materials that are both recessed and raised. Okay, here's an example. Look at this golf ball here. If I wanted show the divots, okay, of all these golf balls, the indents of all these divots, okay, this would take me a lifetime to model in Revit. Okay, I would have to draw a sphere and then I would have to subtract these little divots from the sphere just to create this pattern. Okay, or take a look at this complex brick pattern here. Okay, if I had to take every single one of these bricks and make them recessed, or take the some of them and have them, or raise them, or recess them, it would take me a lifetime to create this type of texture. Okay, so we don't do this by modeling it. We do it by creating what is called a bump feature on a material. Or take a look at this. This one's called a cutout. Okay, look at this net here. If I had to cut out every single hole in this net, okay, I would be here a lifetime trying to do that. Okay, so again, we use a cutout to make areas of materials transparent. Okay, look at this example right here. Okay, I've taken this black and white image here, applied it as a cutout, so that we could, some areas of your glass will be transparent where other areas will be opaque. Okay, so that's what this is, again, developing bump and cutout features in your materials. Alright, so let's start by looking at the bump feature on material. So bump map simulates a bumpy or irregular surface. Okay, so that's what I want to take a look at. And we're going to take a look at it by utilizing, let's say, these two objects here, blue tile and blue tile black and white. So here's how the bump feature works. If you take an image, more specifically a black and white image like this one here, okay, whatever's white will be raised, whatever's black is going to be recessed. Okay, so this is what I want. So not only do I want to apply the blue tile, okay, but I also want to add a bump feature to that. Okay, so we're going to create a material utilizing these two images here. Okay, and I've gotten into my week 10 folder here, or my week 10 file here, and I'm going to zoom up, okay, my lecture file. I'm going to zoom up to the kitchen. So I've gone into the kitchen area here, okay, and I'm going to zoom up into this backsplash. This is where I'm going to create this tile effect. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the material. So to create the material, let's go under Material. Let's go into your material browser, and let's create a new material. Okay, so let's create a new material here. We're going to give it a name. Why don't we just call it blue tile? Okay, and then go under Appearance, and here we go. So let's start by choosing the image of this tile, and this is going to be the, let me just show you here. Go under Thumbnails so that you can actually see in the material. So there you go. There's my blue tile. Okay, so put that in. Alright, and there we go. Now, let's go ahead and put this blue tile on there, and then I want to see the effects that it has. Okay, so let's go. Let's just double check the size of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 squares. Okay, so in a 1 foot. Okay, so let's say I want it to be, I want these to be 4 inch by 4, or maybe 2 inch by 2 inch. So this has to be at least 16 inches. Okay, so let's put our sample size of 16 inches by 16 inches. Okay, and now let's go ahead and paint this. Okay, so let's go to Modify, use our paint tool. Okay, look for blue tile. Okay, and let's apply. Okay, so there we go. Not bad. Okay, but you can see how flat it looks. Okay, I want to give that a little more of a 3D effect. Okay, so this is where I'm going to add my bump feature. Okay, so let's go back into my Manage tab. Let's go back into my material browser. Okay, there's my blue tile. Go under Appearance, and here's where you put your cutout, right here. Oh, I'm sorry, not cutout, bump. Okay, sorry, bump right here. Okay, so turn on your bump, and now select this black and white image. Okay, it's best to use a black and white image to represent a bump, because the darker your black, the more recessed that area is, or the whiter your white, the more raised it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose that one. Okay, there it is. Okay, and let's add. You could see, look at the sample there. If I add a lot more to it, okay, you could see. Let's see. There you go. Okay, you might not be able to see it all that much there. Okay, probably because you got to make sure. Remember, I changed this to 16 inches by 16 inches. Okay, I got to make sure I do the same thing here. Okay, so we're going to adjust the size of this to 16 inches by 16 inches. Okay, done. Okay, apply it. Okay, and now take a look at there. Okay, look at that. Okay, you could really see the tile effect happening there. You could really see how the tile looks like it's raised, and then you could see the grout. It really looks recessed here. Okay, so this enables you to give it a much more three-dimensional effect. Okay, let's do another one. Let's go back to the family room area here. Maybe I'll put a tile on the ceiling. Okay, so I'll go to material. Okay, I'll create a new one. Okay, I'm going to call this one ceiling tile. Okay, I'll go under appearance. Now for this one here, I'm just going to choose a color. I'm going to make it color white. I want the tile to be white. Okay, so I'm not using an image here. I'm just using a color. Then I'm going to add a bump feature to this. Okay, and you can see I've got a bunch of different tile patterns, that ceiling tile patterns that you could choose from. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and again, I'm going to really increase the bump effect on this. Okay, let's also make sure that, let's see the size of this bump. Okay, so this is going to be a half, so I gotta, if I want this to be a 1 foot by 1 foot tile, which I do, okay, I need to make this size a 2 foot by 2 foot. Okay, so there we go. Okay, you could really see that effect happening on that sample. Okay, so now let's go ahead and paint this. Okay, we're looking for my ceiling tile. There it is. Okay, and then let's paint the ceiling. Okay, so there. Now you may not see a great deal of it. You could see it there. Okay, somewhat happening in the ceiling. Maybe if I render it, okay, it may show a little bit better. Okay, so let's go under view, render. Okay, we'll just do a draft rendering here. Okay. Hopefully I have enough lighting in here, okay, to show it. Okay, there we go. Starting to see. Now maybe I might have overdone it and put too much, but hopefully you could start seeing. There we go. Okay, you could really see that three-dimensional aspect. Okay, again, maybe I overdid it. Maybe I want to, pull that back a little bit. But again, there you go. This again is using a bump feature. Imagine modeling this, right? Imagine having to create this tile effect using a modeling capabilities. That would take you forever. Okay, so again, this is the bump feature in action, being able to take a black and white image, okay, and adding reveals or recessed areas okay, or raised areas within your object without having to model it. The next feature I want to show you is called the cutout feature. Okay, the cutout feature enables you to take, again, a black and white image, just like we did with the bump, but this time, the black and white image, whatever is black is going to be transparent, and whatever is white is going to be opaque. So this will really speed up your work production. Anytime you want to create a material that has see-throughness in it or transparency in it, instead of having to, again, model that hole or cut out that hole, okay, we could simply use a cutout feature. Now, if you take a look here, okay, in this actual family room, you can actually see a chair there that's actually utilizing this cutout feature. Okay, and let me show you it. So if you select this chair here and go to edit type, okay, they called it tile bamboo weave. Okay, if I click onto that, okay, go under appearance, you could actually see right there. Okay, if I click onto appearance, okay, right there, you could see that there's a cutout feature on that. Okay, and if I click onto that cutout, okay, you will see that it's utilizing a cutout. Okay, so right there, and you can see the black areas are the ones that are transparent, the white areas are the ones that are opaque. Okay, so if I wanted to do that, okay, all I simply have to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll use one of my cutouts. Okay, I've created I found one online. So please go to your, again, your wherever you've placed the all the images. Okay, so I have one there called weave pattern. Okay, so I'll load that in. There it is. Okay, and let's try that one. Okay, so you can see it right there. Okay, so there you go. That is what a cutout feature enables you to do in Revit. It enables you to make whatever the cutout that you're using, whatever's in black is transparent, okay, whatever's white is opaque. Alright, the next type of feature that I want to show you that you could apply to materials is called the self-illuminating feature. Okay, this enables you to give a material the presence of light. Now, in actuality, when you create a material that emits light, it doesn't actually cast light. Okay, it doesn't actually cast light, so it's not going to create shadows or shade on an object. Really, it just brightens up a material. Okay, that's really what I refer to it as. It brightens up a material. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. We're going to do this. The best way to show this is perhaps neon lighting. Okay, let's say you have a sign, okay, that you want to make it look like it's self-illuminate. Okay, so that's what I want to do. All right, so I'm going to introduce you two things. We're going to do self-illuminating light, but we're also going to show you how to create 3D model text. Okay, and I want to put maybe the word, because it's the family room, maybe I'll put the word family here, okay, right on this wall. Okay, now before we apply it to this wall, we need to get an elevation view of this wall, so we could select this wall as our surface that we want to apply this model text to. Okay, so let's go to our first floor. Okay, in the family room right here, we're going to create a simple elevation view of it. So let's go under view, elevation. Okay, make sure your elevation points to that wall. Okay, so there it is, elevation 2A. Let's go to that. Okay, and then let's click the crop. Okay, and let's just make it a little bit bigger, just so that it's easier for me to pick, okay, the actual wall itself. Okay, and let's go ahead. Under architecture, you'll see the command here, model text. Okay, it's going to ask you to pick a point, pick a surface that you wish to apply this text to. So this is the tricky part. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to pick. Okay, and you want to make sure that when you pick this, it should also be picking the bottom. Okay, now this, if I pick there, you can see it's not picking the bottom of the wall because it's actually picking the side wall here. So I may have to press the Tab key to cycle through. Okay, all the different, there it is. Okay, you can see how it highlights, it highlighted at the bottom as well. Okay, and I'll put the word family in here, capital letters. Click OK. There it is. And I'll put it right above the sofa here. Okay, now if you don't like the size of it, no problem. Press escape, select it, and then go here. There's a 24-inch or a 2-foot high. But again, if you want to edit, duplicate, and change the size, you're more than welcome to. But let's say I want to leave it at that, okay, that size. So I'm going to go back to the family room there. There it is. There's my 3D family. Okay, and I want to put an illuminate material, a self-illuminating material on this. Okay, so here's how I do it. I'm going to select it, go to edit type. Let me just see if there's a material. There is no material parameter on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint it. Okay, so I'm going to go now under, let's see, go under manage, go to your material browser here. Okay, and let's create a new material. Alright, so this one is going to call, let's call it neon lights. Okay, let's go to appearance. Okay, now let's choose a color. Maybe I want it to be kind of a pink. Okay, a pink color, neon. Okay, so again, go ahead and choose whatever color you want. Okay, maybe it's better if I choose let's just choose that color. Okay, so there you go. Now, here's where I add the self-illumination to it. Okay, but let's just put that on just so we could see. Actually, no, let's put the self-illuminating on now. Okay, so right there. Okay, now we could give it a color. We could have just given it a color here. Okay, but here is really where you want to look at, right here. Okay, as we bring this up, it's really this number here that you're changing. Okay, but you could see that this, if you select something there, you could see that it gradually gets higher and higher. Okay, so let's say we want it to be this, I don't know, let's pick something that lampshade. Okay, you can see how bright that is. Ooh, maybe that's a little too bright. Okay, cell phone. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, so let's click OK. Okay, and let's paint this. Okay, look for the neon. Okay, and let's apply. Okay, well, I'll just put it on the front surface of this. Okay, so right there, you can see how bright that is. Okay, let's go back into the material browser, and maybe I'll put the red tint on it rather than the red color. So filter color is where I'm going to change the color here. Okay, let's pick something red here. Maybe it's a bit too bright that it's not letting me. Okay, put a lot of light, color on there. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna alter. Let's try dim glow, see what that looks like. Okay, it's not really giving me a color at all. It's really giving me a different color now. All right, well, let's take a look at what this looks like when I render it. Okay, did I put the right material on there? Well, all right, let's try rendering it. All right, can't really tell a lot about something until you render it. Okay, so let's go again under view. Let's just do a really rough quick rendering here. Okay, I'll stop the video. I'll show it to you on my next video. Alright, so there you go. There's the word with self-illuminating light. Okay, you can see the red, the tint didn't really show up that well. Maybe if I made the self-illumination factor a little bit lower, maybe the tint will come out. But you could see again how bright that is. Okay, now just like I mentioned to you, remember this does not cast light. Okay, you could see that all the areas around it, like the walls, do not show any light on them. Okay, does not show any higher shade values. Look at the furniture down below it. Okay, it doesn't show any shade or shadow casted from there. Okay, so this is really just a great way to make your material a little brighter. Okay, I always like to use this on a very low setting on any objects that are perhaps white. Like look at the ceiling there. That ceiling should be white. Okay, but you can see it's kind of a gray. Okay, so sometimes if you want to make something a little brighter, add some self-illuminate to it. Okay, it's kind of a fake way of making an object appear brighter or whiter, or rather than actually trying to add more light sources to it. Alright, the next thing we're going to take a look at is how to create custom lighting families. Okay, so we've already taken a look at how to create our own custom families, okay, by either using the Revit 3D modeling commands like extrude, revolve, blend, and sweep. Or we've also taken a look at last week we took a look at how to take SketchUp models or AutoCAD models and how to bring them into Revit as a family. Okay, today we're going to take a look at how to create custom lighting. More specifically, it's not actually the fixture that I'm focusing our attention on today, because obviously we've taken a look at all of those different ways of creating or creating different families, okay, that I just mentioned. Okay, so it's not the fixture, it's the source of light. Okay, you know in Revit that when you bring in a fixture, you're also bringing in the source as well. Not like in most programs where they treat them as individual entities. Okay, in Revit they treat the light source and the light fixture as one entity that you bring in as a component. Okay, so I want to take a look at today how to create a custom lighting component or family. Okay, you can see in this slideshow here, it really depicts some of your basic types of lighting that we have. Okay, for instance, in this first set here, we've got a lampshade, and the lampshade is simply just a point of light. You can see here the type of lighting or the shape of the light. It's just a circular light source. Okay, and its light, okay, shines in all directions. Okay, travels in all directions. So it's a point light traveling in all directions. That's what you get with a typical light bulb scenario. Okay, whereas here's a fluorescent light fixture. Okay, that is a line of light. Okay, and you can see it travels in only half a direction. Okay, and then here is a square light. Okay, this light box here, okay, the shape of it is square, and again, it travels downwards in a one directional aspect. Okay, and then lastly, right here, here's our point light, but you could see that the target is going downwards. Okay, this is your like a spotlight. Okay, and that's the type of light source that I want to focus our attention on today. Maybe I want to create a track light, okay, that has that light source in it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our own by a predefined template. Okay, we all know that when we create any component, we choose a light template, or we choose a template. And in this scenario here, we can use any one of these three light templates. Okay, one from the ceiling, either one from the wall, or a generic one. Here's what I want. Okay, is we're going to create a ceiling light. Okay, a spotlight, a track lighting. Okay, that is that we're going to place in our model. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go up to File. Okay, we're going to go to New. Okay, and we're going to click on Family. All right, we're going to go under the English I folder for Imperial. And we're going to look for the lighting. So under L, lighting right here. Okay, ceiling based. Okay, so right there. So if I view this in 3D, okay, what I have here is I have a ceiling. Okay, there's my light source right there. Okay, you can see it right there. And that light source, okay, is, if you take a look at it, is a point light. Okay, it's a point light. So by default, my light is a point light. So if I go under Edit, okay, there's that dialog box that I was showing. So I want it to be a point light, but I want it to be a target light. Okay, I want it to have a target like a spotlight. Okay, so now I click OK. There it is. Okay, if I zoom out, I could actually see there it is. Okay, and if I pick it, okay, you can see I can move it around. Okay, I'll remove the constraints on it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so that again is under Edit. Okay, right there. Or I could have done it through here as well. Okay, and you could see if I go into my front view. Okay, there it is. Okay, now let's see if I could rotate this. Let's see how to control the angle of it. I could move it. Okay, but I need to control the angle of it. So should be right here. Okay, so there's a parameter to it. Okay, so right here should. Okay, so right there is where all my angles are. Okay, so spot beam angle. Okay, let's see. Let's change that and see what happens. Okay, let's change that. Okay, you can see what that does. Tilt angle. I think that's probably the one that I'm looking at. There you go. You can see how that tilts differently now. Okay, this one here, the spot beam angle. Okay, this controls the size of. You can see right there when I set it to 90. You see how large the range is. Okay, and then this spot field angle, this is what controls the hot spot. Okay, you can see this area right here. This is your hot spot, and this is your view. This is your light range. Okay, so you can see that's the angle that it's generating right here. Okay, so 90 degrees, that's the angle. Okay, right there, that's the overall range. Okay, so maybe that's a little too big. Maybe a 60 degree I want. Okay, something like that. Maybe I want to lower that down to 30 degrees. Okay, you can see my hot spot is now a little bit smaller. That's where the light is most intense. Okay, and then that's your angle there. Okay, let's say we want it to be 30 degrees. Okay, you can see how high it is now. Okay, so let's just leave those there. And then what I want to do now is add a fixture to this. Okay, so remember how we added a fixture? I actually have let me show you where it is here. Okay, I have a SketchUp that I gave you. Okay, this spotlight here, and I saved it as a version 8 file so we could bring it in directly into our family. Okay, so let's go ahead and insert that. Okay, so let's go to Insert. Okay, Import CAD. It is a SketchUp file that we're bringing in. Go into your week 10 folder, and there it is. Let's go ahead and insert it. Okay, you could see it right down here. Okay, I'm going to unpin it so I can move it up. Okay, it's now in my ceiling there. I'm going to go to a top view as well to make sure that it is. Okay, I'll set my visual style to wireframe. There it is. Okay, and I'll just bring it over a bit. Okay, now very important note here. Don't put your light source inside it, okay, because your actual 3D model, okay, may cause it to not be able to shine through. Okay, so just make it a little bit in front of it, again, so that it does not cause any type of shadow or the light is stuck inside your 3D model. Okay, so there we go. So if I view it now in 3D, okay, so there we go. Okay, it looks pretty good. Maybe I'll drop it. I'll go to my front view here. I'm going to drop that light down a bit. Right in front. Now remember, don't put it inside. Okay, just leave it somewhat out. Okay, and I think that angle looks like a pretty good representative of the angle that this is angled along. And let's now save that. Okay, so File, Save As, Family. Okay, this is going to be I'll put in my week 10. I'll call this one a Spotlight. Okay, so there we go, saving it as an RFA file. Alright, there we go. And I'll go ahead and close off this file now. I'll go now into my family room, okay, and I'll place one in here. Okay, so I'll go to my ceiling, first floor ceiling plan. Okay, there's my family room right here. Okay, I'll just go ahead and delete this elevation. We don't need that anymore. Okay, and I'll place it on that ceiling right here. Alright, so again, architecture, component, load family. I'm going to go into my week 10 folder. Okay, so there's my Spotlight RFA. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and you can see which direction is it pointing. It's pointing in this different direction, but that's okay. I'll put it, let's say we put it on here, and then we'll point it upwards. Okay, so once I've put it in there, I'll go ahead and select it. There's my space bar. I've just rotated it. Okay, so let's see which way. Right there. Okay, I'll rotate it so that it's facing here. Okay, now I'll go into my 3D view. Okay, you can see it right there. Okay, and let's do a quick rendering of this. Okay, so let's go to View, Render. Okay, Artificial only, and it should shine up against this wall, hopefully. Okay, let's do a rendering of that. Okay, I'll show it on my next, oh, here it comes. So there you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, you can see that there's the shadow that's being, or the light that's being, shined on it. There we go, perfect. Alright, so there you go. That's how you can create your own lighting fixtures by adding or creating a custom light. Alright, now let's take a look at assignment 3, the next step of your assignment. Okay, so we're at step 3 now, advanced materials and lighting. Alright, so in the first step, you've created your own custom material or custom components that you've placed into the living room area of your building. Okay, the next step was to take our last step was to take 3 AutoCAD and 3 SketchUp files and incorporate them into the building. Okay, your next step is right now. Okay, so you're going to create 2 seamless materials using 2 images downloaded online that originally was not seamless. So you're going to find 2 seamless materials online and you're going to apply them to 2 surfaces in your building. Okay, so that's the first step, okay, of step 3. Next, you're going to create a material with a bump feature and another material with a cutout feature. Okay, and you're going to apply those to 2 surfaces. Now please make sure that when you're creating these materials, okay, I'd like you to call it my, okay, on the first part you're going to create my seamless material 1 and my seamless material 2. Okay, and then on the for the bump, call them my bump material and then my cutout material, okay, so that I know exactly what material to look at. And then lastly, you're going to create 2 custom lighting components. Okay, so you can search the 3D warehouse in SketchUp, okay, or any other online resource that you could find for the actual physical model of it, and then you're going to add, or you're going to use a lighting template, and you're going to choose a lighting source, okay, that you're going to apply to your fixture. Okay, and you're going to place them throughout your building. Okay, so again, you're going to create 2 custom lighting components. So pick something that has 2 different ranges. Don't pick 2 target lights. Don't pick 2 point lights. Okay, try to do perhaps a point light with a target, or perhaps do another shape, maybe a line or a rectangle with a different directional source. Okay, so that is your assignment for step 3.